The night I discovered my wife's double life. Hi, Reddit. My 35M wife, 34F, Emily and I have been married for 10 years, together for 12. We met in our mid-20s, both passionate about our careers and enjoying life to the fullest. Or so I thought. This is the story of how I discovered my wife's double life and how I've been picking up the pieces since. Emily and I had a seemingly perfect relationship. We met at a mutual friends party, hit it off immediately, and quickly became inseparable. She was the love of my life, my best friend, and my confidant. We shared everything, our dreams, fears, and countless memories. We traveled, laughed, and supported each other through thick and thin, or at least that's what I believed. About a year ago, things started to change. Emily became more distant, often working late or going on business trips that seemed more frequent than before. She was always busy with her phone, and our conversations became more superficial. I noticed she was more guarded and evasive when I asked about her day. I chalked it up to stress at work and tried to be supportive. One night, Emily was out on one of her so-called business trips. I was home alone, missing her and feeling lonely. I decided to clean up the house and stumbled upon an old tablet we hadn't used in years. It was buried in a drawer in our office, covered in dust. Out of curiosity, I powered it up and found it was still connected to Emily's accounts. As I browsed through her emails and messages, my heart sank. There were dozens of messages between Emily and a man named David. They were explicit, detailing their passionate encounters and plans for future meetings. My hands trembled as I read their conversations, each message a dagger to my heart. They had been seeing each other for over a year, and it was clear that Emily had developed deep feelings for him. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The woman I had loved and trusted for over a decade was leading a double life. I felt sick, betrayed, and utterly devastated. I spent the rest of the night reading through their messages, trying to make sense of it all. By the time Emily returned the next day, I had made up my mind to confront her. When Emily walked through the door, I could barely look at her. My emotions were a chaotic mix of anger, sadness, and confusion. I asked her to sit down, and with a shaky voice, I told her what I had discovered. She looked shocked, but not entirely surprised. She didn't deny it. Instead, she broke down in tears and confessed everything. Emily admitted that she had been unhappy for a long time. She felt neglected and unappreciated, and when she met David at a work event, he gave her the attention and affection she craved. She claimed she never intended for it to go this far, but the feelings grew, and she didn't know how to end it. She apologized profusely, begging for my forgiveness and another chance. In the days that followed, I was a mess. I couldn't eat, sleep, or focus on anything. The betrayal consumed me, and I felt like my world was falling apart. I decided to take some time off work and moved in with my brother, who was incredibly supportive. I needed space to think and process everything. Emily continued to reach out, sending me long messages and letters, trying to explain her actions and asking for forgiveness. I couldn't bring myself to respond. I was too hurt, too angry, and too lost. I started seeing a therapist who helped me navigate through my emotions and begin the healing process. It was a long, painful journey, but I knew I had to face it head-on if I ever wanted to move forward. As the weeks turned into months, I slowly started to regain my sense of self. I realized that I had lost a part of myself in the marriage, always putting Emily's needs before my own. I began to rediscover my passions and interests. I took up photography, something I had always loved but had put aside due to the demands of married life. I also started going to the gym regularly, focusing on my physical health as a way to cope with the emotional turmoil. I reconnected with old friends who were a great source of support and distraction. We went on hikes, had game nights, and just spent time together, reminding me that there was still joy to be found in life. I also joined a support group for people who had experienced infidelity. Hearing their stories and sharing mine was therapeutic, helping me feel less alone in my pain. Emily and I continued to live separately, occasionally meeting to talk. She was genuinely remorseful and made efforts to show she wanted to make things right. She attended therapy on her own and suggested couples counseling. Part of me wanted to believe we could rebuild what we had lost, but another part of me was too shattered to imagine a future with her. After months of soul-searching, I made the difficult decision to file for divorce. It was one of the hardest choices I've ever made, but I knew it was the right one for me. I couldn't live in the shadow of her betrayal, constantly questioning her actions and doubting our relationship. I needed a fresh start, free from the pain and mistrust that had tainted our marriage. The divorce process was challenging, but it also marked the beginning of a new chapter in my life. I sold our house and moved to a new city, seeking a change of scenery and a chance to start over. I found a job I was passionate about, made new friends, and slowly built a life that was entirely my own. Emily and I have remained in occasional contact, mostly to sort out the logistics of our separation. She's expressed her regret and wished me well, and I've done the same. I don't harbor any ill will towards her anymore. I've come to understand that people make mistakes, and while her actions hurt me deeply, they also pushed me to grow and rediscover myself. Looking back, I realized that discovering Emily's affair was both the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. It shattered my world, but it also forced me to confront my own issues and find a path to healing. I've learned that I am stronger and more resilient than I ever thought possible. To anyone going through a similar experience, I want you to know that you are not alone. The pain can feel unbearable, but with time, support, and self-reflection, you can rebuild your life. It's okay to grieve, to feel angry, and to take time for yourself. But know that there is hope and happiness beyond the betrayal. Today, I am in a much better place. I've learned to love myself and prioritize my own well-being. I've discovered new passions and built a life that brings me joy and fulfillment. The journey wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Thank you for reading my story. If it resonates with you or helps you in any way, then sharing it has been worthwhile. Remember, healing is a journey, and you have the strength to navigate through it. Stay strong and never lose hope.